Yo, what's going on guys? It's G-Miners here. In this video, we are going over a full guide for the brand new Duality dungeon. You will need to grab a quest from Hawthorne for this dungeon to become available. And if this video helps you out, don't forget to drop a like, sub, and share as it helps me out a ton. Also, I added chapters for the video, so if you want to skip jumping puzzles, you can just watch mechanics to each main encounter. When you load in, you're going to wait for heirs to talk and then immediately drop through the floor and get TP'd to this room. Through this main gate, there is a bell. Shooting this bell will TP you to the Mindscape or Nightmare realm. When you TP here, you will always be exactly where you were standing when you get pulled in, and the realm will change. Navigate to the bell again, now that nothing is in your way, and shoot it. Whenever in the Nightmare realm, you must be within the bell circle to get TP'd back, otherwise you will die. After this bell, navigate up the room to this top spot to shoot another bell and go back into the Nightmare realm. Cross the room and hit the bell again. After this, there is a bell on the left of the room. Then you will need to enter a door at the end of the left side and reach another bell to go back. From here, you need to drop down and shoot this bell across the way, and then cross the room in Nightmare mode. Finally, you will reach the final bell you need to hit, and you can drop down again. Clear the ads in this room to open a trap door, jump down that, and you are at encounter number 1. During the first encounter, your goal is to collect standards like you did in the OG Leviathan raid. These are dog, cup, sun, and axes, but use whatever callouts you prefer. Start the encounter by shooting the first bell. This will TP you to the Nightmare realm where you must find 2 standard bearers. Now these bearers will be in 2 of the 4 total rooms located on the corner of the arenas. A good way to tell where they are is that dogs spawn with them, so if you see dogs, go there. You will be grabbing 2 standards, and then you will need to come back out of Nightmare mode. Before you do this, you will need to have 1 player kill 2 bell keepers. The bell keepers that spawn will prevent you from using the bell if they are alive. Once they are dead and you have both standards, make your way to the bell and leave. Again, you will need to be within the bell circle when leaving Nightmare mode, otherwise you will die. Bank these 2 standards in the corners with corresponding symbols and 2 rooms should open. You will need to send 2 people into these rooms, so 1 in each room, and then the 3rd player should shoot the lantern while outside of the rooms to go back into Nightmare mode. Again, you will have to kill bell keepers. This will TP you back to Nightmare mode, but now 1 player will be in mid and 1 player will be in each of the rooms. The player in mid should kill bell keepers right away while they wait, and the other 2 players will need to kill Deceptions of Galron. Kill 1 and grab the Nightmare Essence they drop, and this will make you almost one-shot the rest of these nightmares. If you don't get the Essence, they are super tanky. After both players kill all their Deceptions and progress through the rooms back to mid, damage begins. Every time you are in Nightmare mode, you do have a wipe timer. This gets bonus time when killing standard keepers, but this also exists during boss damage, so don't stay in Nightmare mode for too long. You can again use the bell to go back out of Nightmare mode. Once you go back, just keep repeating these mechanics until the boss is dead. After grabbing your loot, we have another jumping puzzle and then a mini puzzle encounter. Drop through the hole in the floor to progress. In the open jumping puzzle area, there is a lever on the leftmost pillar that activates platforms. And then as you reach the end of the area, there is also one on the far right. There will be a hole that opens up with more platforms after hitting this second lever on the far right. The hole is a slide, so be careful not to slide to your death. In this next section, all you have to do is navigate to the far back right of the room, and there is a ramp that leads you to the next area. There is some platforming and a crawl space to go through, and then you reach a mini puzzle that must be completed. At this puzzle, you need to look at the statues of Galron that are not pointing their axes directly to the middle. Going into Nightmare mode allows you to activate buttons on the back of these statues to turn them. I believe they turn counterclockwise, and they should make noises when in the right position, but when in Nightmare mode, you cannot see them rotate. You will need to leave Nightmare mode with the bell to check on these statues, and then once all are pointing towards the mid when you are out of Nightmare mode, the floor will open up and you can drop down to the second encounter. This encounter is almost exactly the same as before. You will need to kill bell keepers to activate bells and then TP into Nightmare mode. Before you go in though, 2 symbols around the center circle of the room should appear. You'll need to remember these and grab the correct standards that correspond to these symbols. In Nightmare mode, you will go to one of the 4 corner areas of the map. Each will correspond to a different standard. Eventually, a standard bearer will spawn, which you can kill to grab the standard. We couldn't figure out what caused them to spawn, but each time you do kill one, your timer is extended, so you should easily be able to kill both. Kill the Bellkeepers and exit Nightmare Mode to deposit these standards, and then repeat this until you have all 6 deposited. Just know that every 2 that you deposit, a mini boss in the middle will then become damageable and then must be killed before the next set of standards are revealed. Killing all 3 mini bosses completes this encounter. After this, drop down and you guessed it, more jumping puzzles and lanterns. When you reach this room with the no respawn zone, there is a lantern in the back left of the room. In Nightmare Mode, you will jump towards the left side of the room and into this hole to progress. This lantern takes you back where you will jump and shoot another lantern across the way. Cross the room to this lantern to go back and jump up some more, and then entering this last and final hole will take you down another slide into another giant chasm. This time, all you need to do is reach the end. There are no levers that you need to hit, and then you will have finally reached the last encounter. In this encounter, mechanics are once again very similar. Start off by killing all 6 Bellkeepers, and then remember the 2 symbols that appear near the giant chains in the room. Shoot any bell to enter Nightmare Mode, and you will need to then kill 2 standard bearers that correspond to these symbols. The standard bearers will always appear in all 4 corners, so you need to remember which symbols to kill. If you kill the right bearers, your time is then extended as it was before, but killing the wrong ones will now reduce time. If you kill 2 of the wrong ones, you will most likely wipe. Sun is in the far left, Dog is in the close left, Axes are on the far right, and then Cup is on the close right. There will also be 6 Bellkeepers when you enter Nightmare Mode, so make sure to kill all of them. After you have both standards, leave Nightmare Mode and go deposit them near the chains in the middle of the room. Do this again for another set of standards, and you will then reach a damage phase. To start the damage phase, you will need to shoot any of the chains in mid, as they are now damageable. This will then ring the massive bell, and shortly after, you will be TP'd into Nightmare Mode with Keitel. It is very important that before you go into damage phase, you have each player stand by a separate bell. When you spawn in, you want to immediately kill your Bellkeepers. The reason you need to do this is because Keitel will try to leave the arena by reaching a bell. She will pick one at random, and you must have the bell ready in order to prevent her from doing this. Each bell should now be ready, and your team should all link up on the bell that Keitel is going towards. When she reaches it, shoot the bell and she will stun. If you are near the bell when it is shot, you will also get a buff that increases weapon damage by 10x, and you will have 10 seconds to deal damage. She will then move towards a different bell, so repeat this, and then also do it for the final bell. After a damage phase is done, you will be TP'd back out of Nightmare Mode, complete these mechanics to kill her, and complete the dungeon. Once again, if this guide helps you out, support on the video is always greatly appreciated. As always, have a good one, guys. Peace.